my goal is I want to have a $50,000 month. I want to break $1 million in sales this year. So I started a brand new from scratch account. I did a faceless fax account. It did really well. I started on a Thursday. By Monday, I had 5,000 followers. By that Friday, we hit 10,000 followers, and 4 months later, 200,000 followers. And then I got that notification, make more money with TikTok Shop. So February, we hit $80. March, we hit 300. In the millions of views, they kept running out of inventory. We're missing so many sales here. Our goal is, what do we like? What is easy for us to talk about and still be enthused about it? The biggest thing is, if you start, the chance of it happening is there. If you don't start, I can guarantee it, it's not coming.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to TikTok Shop Affiliate Academy, a podcast that uncovers the story and strategy from the top 1% of TikTok Shop affiliates. I am your host, Ivan. We have a very special guest today, Taylor. What's up, Taylor? How you doing?
How's it going, man? I want to first off, thank you for inviting me on and considering me as part of one of the top 1%, because I would have never thought that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I get that often, right? All my guests kind of, I don't know if it's self-doubt or not, but like they don't know the impact that they're making and the system that they have going, right? They look at it as something that's not special. But when I ask these questions and I drill down, and it's like they kind of realize, like, wait a minute, I am doing something special, right? And so for me, the top 1% is obviously like GMV number, but also it's a repeatable process, right? Like you can do it time and time again, something that, product over product, style over style, right? And so my main, point here is just to keep on asking you questions so that, I can pull out the style that works for you. And hopefully the listener can kind of take that in their house and see if it works for them, right? So
that's awesome. I want to try to add as much value as I possibly can. So I'm an open book, full transparency, whatever you got, hit me with it.
Love it. Love it. And I see here in your bio, you're a father of two little girls.
Yep, two girls, 1 6, 1 11. Been with my wife for 9 years and married, going on this year will be 3 years. So
nice. We've been married for 9 years as well. My wife and I. Yeah.
We haven't married 9 years yet. We've been together 9 years.
Okay.
Married 3. So.
Got it. Yeah, we've been together like 13 years. I don't know, long time.
Yeah,
but we got 3 kids in our house, so busy house as well.
Cool.
All right. So always like a little backstory. What were you doing prior to TikTok Shop, and then how you stumbled upon it?
Of course. So I started on TikTok when it first happened in like 2020, when the first big TikTok rollout happened in 2020. Downloaded it just like everybody else did during COVID, and really started off with just family skits that I thought were funny, that my family thought were funny. And we just did little funny comedy skits, relatable skits for husband and wives, brothers, sisters, stuff like that. And saw a little bit of success. We had a couple of viral videos there. I think our biggest one hit 3.6 million. And that started that family account, built it to about 28,000 at that point in time. And obviously I wasn't getting paid at that point in time either. So I kind of hit the brakes on that. And I wanted to figure out a way to make some extra money on the side. So that's when I stumbled across Amazon KDP. And for those who don't know, it's just a book publishing on Amazon. So I went and published low to medium content books. I did about 50 books on Amazon there. Very time consuming, not very lucrative for us. So I pulled the brakes on that as well. And then I stumbled across day trading and swing trading, made about 10 grand there. And I rolled that money into an ATM business and did ATM for about a year and built up a small route. Way too much time, couldn't keep up with it. Sold the route, luckily broke even. And then that's kind of when the Creator Rewards program came out for pay-per-views, whatever it is for TikTok.
Yep.
And I thought, how could I make this work? I found that out. I did some research about it. And then I didn't want to convert my family account just yet because I was at 28,000. So I started a brand new from scratch account. And I did a faceless fax account. So funny facts, gross facts, that kind of stuff. And surprisingly, it did really well. And I started on a Thursday. By Monday, I had 5,000 followers. And of course, you need 10,000 to get paid for views. So by that Friday, we hit 10,000 followers. And 4 months later, we built it to 200,000 followers. So it was pretty cool. And I made a decent chunk there for a little bit of time. I did that for about 9 months. And then that's when TikTok kind of slashed what they're paying for pay for views. We went from like 98 cents, 1,000 to only about 3 or 4 cents. So I was
Right.
like, okay, this isn't working anymore. And then I got that notification, make more money with TikTok Shop. So I was like, what is TikTok Shop? And this is
Yeah.
January 2024. I knew nothing about it at all. So I dove headfirst into that and tried to figure out what it was. How can I make it work? I think that first month we made $6.50.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, proven concept. Imagine if I could take this and scale it, how could this compounding effect add up? So it's
Yeah.
kind of where we are now, full circle, TikTok to TikTok.
I have so many questions. I don't know if you noticed or the viewers noticed, but I had a smile on my face. I know I did. I know I had a smile on my face listening to your story. I'm a serial digital entrepreneur as well. So your story is
Money
great.
online somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, you just tried so many things.
Yeah.
When kind of it seems that you had success to medium success in all of it, and kind of rolled that all into what's the next thing, what's the
Right.
next thing. So I don't know. It's a kind of tugs at my heartstrings. Like you're seeing success after kind of grinding it
Yeah.
out, if you will, right?
It's one of those things where I failed at all those other things. I wouldn't even call it fail because obviously I didn't know anything about anything I started from
Right.
KDP to day trading and swing, all this. I didn't know anything about anything. So I taught myself all this stuff, but everything obviously the skills I learned in those avenues, I
Yep.
was able to then bring over to the Faceless account. What I learned on Faceless, I was able to bring over to TikTok Shop, and it just kind of, it's been working out. So I'm
Yeah,
rolling with
beautiful.
it.
Okay, cool. So when did you when did you start TikTok Shop? How long ago?
TikTok Shop was January last year. So 2024.
Okay, so
Like
pretty
probably the midway through January, so halfway through January.
okay, so a little over a year of
Yeah.
experience on TikTok Shop.
Yep.
And then when you started TikTok Shop, you mentioned you had a couple sales, but like, what did that first look like? You made that first video. Did you get sales right away,
Not at
or
all.
yeah?
Not
So
at
tell me
all.
about that. Like, how many did it take, or what are those
Oh
first couple
man,
weeks like?
I wish I could remember the exact product or the exact amount of videos it took, but I really don't remember. I know it was in the range of 10 videos at first.
Okay.
And we started off with that. I don't know if you remember now. It was a viral like fabric dresser.
Yep.
I
Yep. Yeah.
don't remember what company were selling it, but it was a viral dresser that was going around. And I think that's where we started. We made about 3 or 4 videos for that. And that's where we made one of our first sales, was that dresser. And that's kind of when I was like, oh, $6. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a lot of money, but I just proved the concept worked. It's real. It's gonna, so keep on
It
with
paid
it.
you out.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so you made that viral. Oh, you kind of like you made those videos.
Mhm.
You got one sale, and that's enough
Yeah.
for
No
proof.
viral videos at that point in time.
Yeah.
Not even didn't even break 10,000 views at that point in time either. It was like
Yeah.
maybe 4,000, 3,000 views in that area.
But what I like about this is like you touched on this earlier, but all your previous experiences, you kind of parlayed all those skill sets that you
Mhm.
developed, you parlayed into this, right? And I can see it all like with the Faces video, and having to talk to someone in social media, etc., and selling them. So I could see that. I like that. So that first video or that first sale happened. Talk me through that moment of like light bulb moment of like, hey, this
Yeah.
is where it's at, like either viral views or viral sales. Like, what did that look
Yeah.
like?
So it was more so curiosity. So we had the $6 a month,
Yep.
and I was like, man, this is super cool. And from what I learned with doing the books online, the commissions over there is very low. So, but I learned that the more books you sell, it compounds. So I figured, okay,
Mhm.
I'll apply the same concept. More videos I make, it's going to compound. Keep in mind, I didn't know anything about TikTok Shop. I didn't even know you could use things you already have at your house. I thought you had to get a
Mhm.
new product from TikTok Shop at that point in time. So once I saw that sale come through, I was like, okay, this is going to work. So we started just cranking out more videos, more videos. Now it wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't all in at that point in time. Like we weren't making 10 videos a day or nothing like that.
Mhm.
We were definitely more lax with it. But then the next month we hit $80. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
it's working. That's a good little jump. At least we're trending upward. So February, or not next day. I'm sorry. I think I said next day. So February we hit $80, and then March we hit 300. So it started. We saw that
Yeah.
graph going upward, and I'm like, all right, let's keep this going and see where we can take it. That's really
Nice.
pretty crazy.
So it's just kind of like gradual growth. There wasn't
Right.
anything that kind of hit it out the
No
park.
virality at that point at all. It was just
Yeah. So talk me to your kind of the first virality that you came across.
such a frustrating moment. So you'd think it'd be great, but it was so
Okay.
frustrating because
Tell me.
we've had a couple. So first it was a zero gravity chair,
Okay.
and it's a higher price point, so it didn't convert as well. But it got into about, I don't know, 700,000 views. That was our first big product that we started making money with. I think that for that product we made about $2,000, which is really good. I'm
Right.
very happy with that. But then when we hit in the millions of views, when I say millions, it was like 1.2 or 1.4, something like that. It was with
Yeah.
swimming goggles around June timeframe. And what was frustrating about it was they kept running out of inventory. So the
Yep.
link kept getting removed and the video kept growing. And then I'm like, man, we're missing so many sales here. I
Yep.
kept trying to go back to the seller and say, hey, what's going on here? When are we going to restocks? And
Yep.
so after a while, as you probably know this, but after a while, the video loses traction
Yep.
and it just dies out. So that's kind of what happened with
Yeah.
that. We saw it hit 1 million, 1.5 million, and we're just like the sales didn't convert
Yeah.
because it kept running out of stock. So I was pretty
Yeah.
frustrated about that.
Yeah, I definitely see that, as brands go viral, as products go viral, it's just a name of the game, right? You only have a certain
Yeah.
amount of inventory and it takes a couple months to get that inventory made. So you're going to run out.
At that point,
Blessing
too,
and a curse.
with that,
But it's a blessing and a curse on all
right?
sides.
Yeah, it could
Yeah.
work. We just saw it can work, and at that point, we also didn't think or take into account that we before promoting the product should look at the stock number, and we didn't
Yep.
see how much they had in stock. We weren't really thinking like that at that point in time. It was still
Yeah.
fairly new to us. We were only a couple months in, so I
Yeah.
think we only had a couple hundred in stock, and we would
Yeah.
sell out by 8 o'clock in the morning. You're like, there goes the whole day.
Exactly. So that's one thing, like a note here for people listening is when you're choosing products to, when you're evaluating, take a look at the stock
Mhm.
numbers, right? If there's a couple
Yep.
hundred likely to go out of stock, you don't want to get a viral video and then get out of stock and then be in the
Yep.
same position where you're seeing those views go up, but no sales because there's no product. So take a look at those stock numbers.
Yes. You never know what's gonna hit.
Yeah. Okay. So was it always a gradual climb as far as performance and sales, or did you have some months where you're just like, this ain't working?
So I would say there was no it was a gradual climb for sure, which I honestly prefer. I don't want a
Yeah.
huge virality month and then
Yeah.
huge tanks. I would rather the gradual climb, and that's kind of what it's been like. There
Okay.
were times where it was stagnant, and we were
Yeah.
kind of making around at this point in time $2,500 a month, which I was
Yeah.
thrilled with. I thought that was amazing.
Yep.
On top of a full time job, so that's amazing, the extra income. So it was very stagnant for a couple of months, and then once October hit, that's kind of when it started really working for us because since October we haven't made less than 10 grand a month, which has been phenomenal. But then also TikTok has a way to has a way to humble you down a little bit because this
Yeah.
month currently has been our lowest month since about
Okay.
September or August. So
Yeah. How are you?
that declined a
How are
little
you
bit.
finding that turnaround? Like, are you still kind of head down making it? It's a little discouraging. What
No,
are
it's not
your?
discouraging because I know
Okay.
eventually I try to keep I'm optimistic. I'm trying to
Yep.
stay positive because it happened once. I can see it happening again.
Yep.
I'm not gonna not let it not happen. If that
Yep.
makes any sense, I'm gonna keep going. And I think that's how anybody should. If they're jumping in a TikTok shop, they should approach it like that. Kind of visualize yourself having those months because it's possible for sure. But the way I make up the difference there is I just try to incorporate more brand deals at that point in time. So we just incorporated a brand deal for a couple of videos for $1,200, and that's going to then hopefully offset that difference a little bit more for us.
Yeah, for sure. Being a part of the Community Affiliate Academy HQ, we have connections with brands and we offer brand deals all the time. So
That's awesome.
definitely, as you see, Taylor, you see your success. Now you have that leverage for, these upcoming brands to kind of make, videos for a flat fee for them. So I love that, right? It's kind of growing this business
Yeah,
time over time. So I
it's
do have a question. You
great.
mentioned, you had a
Mhm.
day job. How, a lot of people out there are doing a day job and TikTok shop. How do you find that balance? What do
So
you, any advice for people out there trying to do it?
yeah, I really wish I had some good advice for this part. This is where one of my flaws. I'm slacking here. I need to come up with a schedule, but I make it work during my lunch breaks, after work, weekends. That's pretty
Yeah.
much where we film. I see a lot of people who have set schedules and they're very strict with it and disciplined. And I wish I could be like that.
Yeah.
That's gonna be one of my goals this year is to make sure I set myself a schedule to have a filming day, maybe a batch filming day. I don't even batch film. I just film when I can,
Yep.
and I post it right afterwards. I try to just get it filmed and posted, filmed and posted. I don't really keep many of my drafts, which is probably not a good thing. I probably should, but I don't really have
No,
a
you
secret there. I just kind of do it when I can.
you do it when you can. Kind of like
Yeah.
you have your work schedule, life schedule, and you try to fit it in. Okay.
Yeah. And another thing is I try not to stress about it. I see a lot of videos people saying you have to post 10 videos a day, you have to post 6 videos a day. It's funny because uh, we probably hit 1 to 3 videos a day is what we try to do.
Okay.
And last month, February was one of our biggest months. And I actually got a notification saying that you posted 60% or 67% less than, or you posted less than 67% of the creators in your category. I'm like, wow, that's not good. But then I still was able to, in commission, we brought
Your
home
biggest month.
$23,000 last month. So I'm like, it's not necessarily crank them all out. We try to focus on making a decent video, that whatever we think is decent, at least, everybody is subjective. And then get those posted out and then fill in the blanks. Comment replies are huge for us. So we do that a lot.
Okay, I like that. I'll dive into that a little bit more with the comment replies. But one of the questions I like to ask is, I've been developing this, but the freebie frenzy when you first start, or like the honeymoon phase of getting free products. Like, did you ever did you experience that? And also, like, was there a mental switch that you saw with like success by kind of transitioning away from that?
Yeah. So there definitely was. The moment you get free stuff in the mail from a company, you're like, you don't really believe, like, come on, this isn't really, and then it actually happens. Or wow. So then what else can I get? What do I need for the house? What do I have to upgrade? What's broken? What can I replace? Whatever it is, until you really start developing strategy around it. But yeah, we definitely did that. I think at one point we had, I don't know, like 30 pending samples we had to do in the 14-day period. And man, we got overwhelmed and our fulfillment rate tanked because we just couldn't meet the deadlines.
You couldn't meet it.
We had to hit the brakes on that a little bit. And we started focusing on products that had better reviews, more established sales, anywhere like 500 to 1,000 sales already. And also the inventory. So we tried to, doing that eliminated all these other samples that we were getting that were, honestly, some of them were not that good. Some were pretty good. And some we had really good luck with. But honing back on what you actually either like is easy for us. Our goal is, what do we like? What is easy for us to talk about? And what can we talk about multiple times and still be enthused about it? So that's kind of what we look at.
Did you notice a correlation between success and kind of bringing back a little bit of that freebie desire?
Yeah. So if I'm understanding correctly, so once we were able to hone in on like maybe 5-10 products that we actually liked and not just get everything, we saw that we were able to start pushing out better videos for those specific products, more videos as well. And the compounding for that just skyrocketed for us.
Yeah. It's hard to see when you're in the moment, right? But it's great to request 30 products, because who wouldn't want 30 free products? But what happens now is you're on the hook for these 30 products. And now you have to make 30 videos. And now each one of those videos is now kind of devalued, if you will, right? Where if you select products that you're really enthused about and not so many, then it becomes a higher quality video, right? Not necessarily, it's just generalities, but for the most part, that's true, right? So just like, really concentrate. There's gonna be a time where it's impossible. It's human nature to want free products, but like, if you really want to be good as a TikTok Shop affiliate, you gotta want to like
have some strategy behind it.
Have some strategy and be super picky about what you do. Make sure it vibes well with like your flow. So cool. Yeah, I love that. Okay, so up next is the portion where we're going to review a video, and you have a what is it called? A 10-in-1 power plug. So I'm going to share that, and then we'll review.
It's almost 2025. Every single house should come standard with these. If you still have power outlets like this in your house, then it's time for an upgrade, because these nowadays are pretty much useless. Instead, you need to upgrade to one of these that have 6 power outlets all the way around it. It has 2 USB ports and 1 USB-C port right there in the middle. It also has an LED light right here that goes all the way around it, and you can actually adjust the lighting there, which is super awesome. And the installation is incredibly easy. All you have to do is unscrew the original outlet right here in the middle, take off this faceplate, and then all you gotta do is grab your new one, plug that in right there in the middle, and it comes with these nice long screws right here. All you have to do is put that right through the middle and screw that in, and you are ready to go. And now you can see, as you touch the light, you can change the colors. So once it gets dark out, this will automatically turn on for you. And it's that quick. I just added the second one right next to our bar area. That way, if anybody's sitting here, they can easily charge their phones or anything else they need to charge. And at night, when our daughters are walking down this hallway, when it's dark out, this light will pop on, illuminating this entire area so they can see easily. These come in a single pack, 2-pack, or a 4-pack. We obviously got the 4-pack, so I'm going to go ahead and install these around the house. If you want to check these things out, they are absolutely incredible. I went ahead and tagged them right here below in the orange shopping cart.
Love it. Okay, cool. So that went pretty viral. What are some of the bits that you liked about that video that you think it went viral?
Yeah, so I want to preface this by saying, first of all, I shared that video because it's not necessarily our best selling, but it is the most viewed video we've had.
Yeah.
And I think what I don't know, I'm not too sure exactly what might have caught people, but I know a couple of things I see in the comments that people were pretty upset about, which I think is hilarious. And what we try to do in our videos is create conversation. So
Yep.
one of the things I said in that video was, if you used to have one of these old outlets, you need to get updated because it's useless, which
Yeah.
we all know in the power outlet's not useless. So people hated the fact that I said it's useless, and then still went and plugged the new 10-in-1 into that same power outlet. So they wanted to make sure they called me out for that. You said it's useless, but you just used it to plug it in. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And I think the motion when I first started the video, when I came up like this and it said, it's 2025, that motion of panning away from the camera, but then panning back, and that movement, I
Yeah.
think it helps stop the scroll for a second. Plus,
Yep.
it's just a bunch of boxes in my hand. So nobody knows what that was. So I think it also builds a little bit of curiosity.
Mhm.
More so, what do we need to upgrade our houses with? What is that? And then that's when I get into the next bit of, this thing's useless. And
Yeah. So a couple of things there. The visual hook, kind of getting him engaged and stopping the scroll for sure. And then also maybe I've noticed this more and more, but unintended controversial comments.
Yeah.
You definitely kind of I've noticed that a lot actually.
Oh yeah.
If you can manufacture controversial comments a little bit, like in your videos, that's definitely a way.
It works. Not all the time, but it definitely does work.
Yeah. Do you do it on purpose, or is it kind
Yeah.
of?
So for that one, I did it on purpose, calling it useless. I
Okay,
didn't
you
know
did.
it was gonna work, but
Yeah.
it did. So then once I found out it did work, and I made like 30 videos for that thing, and I used that same line probably 20 other times, hoping it would
Yeah.
catch again, but it just never did. So it
Yeah.
was just luck that it worked that time. Another video I did where it was like an ice mold maker.
Yeah.
I told my wife's filling her cup of ice, and I say, no, don't waste all the ice, and I dump it down the drain immediately, wasting it all.
Yeah.
And people would love to call me out for that. A bunch of ice cubes enthusiasts hated on us.
Yeah, I see. So you purposefully use, script or say something that's gonna cause a ruffle some feather, right? And then
Not in every video, but in a lot of the videos we do. Yeah.
yeah, okay, I love that. And then yeah, I think another thing that sold me, right? So once you get the hook and controversial videos, like you sold the product pretty well, right? I definitely, as a father of 3, saw my my snake pit of iPhone chargers in my living room, kind of like and I was like, oh wait a minute, we could use some organization in that aspect, right? So I like
No,
that.
that video did pretty well for us. I think off that one specifically, we made about 10 grand off that video. But over the
Nice.
lifetime of doing that product and all the videos combined, we've made about $36,000 on that one
That's
product.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Like
It's insane.
rewind 2 years ago and tell yourself that you can make a car
insane.
buy
What
a
I
car.
find funnier too is once you find a little bit of success in a certain category, every other brand in that category was, hey, promote my power outlet, promote. Oh my God, I
Yeah.
want all these power outlets.
Yeah. What other categories? Like, I know that's kind of like home electronic. Are there any categories that you kind of vibe with? Well,
Right now, we have seen mostly the electronics have been pretty good for us, but then also a lot of home stuff.
Yeah.
But usually towards the summertime, springtime, we start doing a little more outdoor stuff. And last year that did well for us. Obviously, we're not there yet for this year, but so far, so over the fall into the winter, it's been pretty much electronics and just home kitchen stuff, much electronics and just home crazy. Am I freezing up over here?
You were for a second, but we're back. So you were just mentioning that last year during summertime, you focus on outdoors. Now you are focusing on kind of family home stuff. Okay, so here's a question that I wanted to ask you from the beginning. In this predominantly female dominated space, like, what are your kind of thoughts about being a male? Is it a lot easier? Is it harder? Like, what are your thoughts on like being like maybe a 1%, 5%, creator? Like,
I wouldn't say it's easier or hard. Honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's easier.
Yeah.
Because since my wife and I are kind of a duo, she does the female stuff, the female products, a lot of times, and I think her and I kind of see the same success. And maybe it's because we're working together and we're kind of formulating ideas together. But yeah, I do see a lot of women promoting stuff, but a lot of times it's also a lot of makeup or skincare, clothing, and I or nutrition stuff. And I try to stay away from all the nutrition kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But No, I wouldn't say it's easier or harder. I don't know how to really say it. I just kind
Yeah.
of I don't really pay attention to it. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, as
It's
like a third person looking in, I'm thinking there's, 98% of affiliates out there are women or whatever, maybe like 90%. And there's a small circle of male creators, but there's
Mhm.
still a lot of male viewers on TikTok, right? So
Yeah.
they're going to need their needs met, or, find interest in things, or maybe men just don't buy and women just buy that much more. But
Right. Yeah. It's kind of formulating to almost like you're selling to the women's side of things, so they buy for
right.
their husbands or boyfriends or whatever it is.
Okay, yeah, I see that as well. Okay, cool. So not too much different. That's good to know. Okay. So up next, we're approaching the rapid fire round. What is your highest GMV generated in a month?
So highest GMV was last month. I think I sent in a note, so it was 160, but I actually double checked and it's 175, 175,000 dollars.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that was and that was February of 25.
25. Yes. Yep.
Nice. Okay, cool. Were you able to kind of buy anything cool for the family, for yourself, or did you just tuck it away?
No. So yeah. So we for February, I think we made just shy of 23,000 in
Yep.
commission. And what we've done is throughout the year of 2024, with all of our earnings, we went and paid off, my car, paid off some debt. But then other than that, everything's been going into our brokerage accounts, our accounts for our girls, and
Yeah.
just saving this away and just trying to build a nest egg.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. Okay, cool. What's one piece of advice that you wish you had when you first started?
So the one thing I would think is, because I'm pretty bad at this, is comparing yourself. Used to compare myself to creators who started around the same time frame that just saw success almost immediately.
Yeah.
Once I got out of that mindset and learned, okay, I can. If I started picturing myself, I'm gonna make this happen no matter what. I'm just gonna keep doing it. Don't lose hope. Eventually will come. The biggest thing is, if you start, the chance of it happening is there. If you
Yep.
don't start, I can guarantee it's not coming. So
Right.
just start and just keep going. Don't lose hope, and
Right.
don't stress yourself out about it. If you need to take a day, take a day. You see
Yeah.
creators saying you need to post 10 videos a day. Yes, if the more you post, the better chances you have. But if it's overwhelming you, just take a step back and just
Yeah.
take a breather, take a day, and then get back to it the next day and with a clear mind.
Yeah, kind of like along with what you're saying, if you don't start, you're not going to make any money.
Right.
But
Yeah,
if you start, you at least have a chance, right? And then the
exactly.
same point, if you start and then you stop and don't continue, you're not going to make any money, right? So
Exactly.
keep on going and try to get better every day. And that's one thing we like to have in our community, right? We know that there are affiliates out there that have started, that have made videos, and that are not getting success, right? So we want to
Mhm.
establish a community to kind of cultivate that, be able to answer some questions, give feedback. How do you be a better affiliate, right? We see thousands of affiliates kind of improving every day. So it's like,
Mhm.
how can we offer that advice to them, and maybe a little bit of motivation as well? Like, it is possible.
Exactly.
Keep on going. So yeah, again, affiliateacademyhq.com, join our community. We'd love to have you and kind of learn how this game works. So cool. What's your best piece of advice that you've received?
That I've received.
Yeah.
Let me think about it. For TikTok shop related or just in general?
TikTok shop related, but anything.
Honestly, I don't think I've really gotten any advice from TikTok shop. I kind of
Yeah.
dove in this not with no.
In deep end.
Yeah, I kind of just
Nice
dove into
stuff.
this. I didn't have somebody show me the way. I just saw videos and did my own research. So there was no advice in that uh, perspective.
Aspect.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but my wife, she's been my cheerleader since the beginning. So she's
Love it.
always been my side and always just cheering me on, just saying, always you can do this. Don't stop. Like, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
stop. That's all it is. I know no real advice I wish I had some. I'm sorry, but that's
No,
pretty much
no.
what
I
I was.
mean,
All the things I've done, I've kind of just dove into, taught myself, and then just tried to grab those skills and bring it to somewhere else.
yeah, something I took away from that comment is, you have a great support system, right?
Oh, for sure.
Sometimes one day you might not be feeling so well, and you have a motivation, extra motivation from your wife and supports, and she can
Yeah,
help you with
sure.
ideas and everything. So, yeah, I mean, for those listening, if there's someone in your network that can, push you along, definitely kind of take that as well and help use that as motivation for yourself.
Yeah, we throw a lot of ideas back and forth, and some are good, some are pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. But hey, those good ones make up for the bad ones tenfold. So, what do you touched on this earlier, creating a schedule, but anything like, do you want to expand? My question is there anything you want to improve on going forward? Like,
Yeah.
how can you improve as a creator?
I want to start batch batch shooting our videos. So once we get products come in, maybe take a weekend, a Saturday or a Sunday, and just do a full batch, maybe not a full batch day, but maybe a batch morning, and just start recording all the content either for one product or a couple of products, and hold those for the week so I can then free up some more time throughout the week after work and stuff like that, and just have those videos in my drafts and ready to post when I can post them. So that's gonna be my goal, is to get better at being more structured with how I do my videos.
Yeah. So how do you say that? Like, would you say it's reserved for Saturday or Sunday in your schedule, or is it kind of putting it in your calendar? Because that's how I would do it. Is maybe put it in my calendar and this time of day. So that's
pretty much what it would be, is just setting aside on a calendar day exactly that. Start 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is. Leave me alone during this time. I'm gonna just try to focus on doing this stuff.
Yeah, so I guess I'll challenge you now. Like, let's do that in
Dude.
2025. I know if you think it'll do well, I know it'll do well in kind of the results. So cool.
No, awesome. I'm down for it.
How do you think you differentiate yourself between other affiliates? Obviously, you're a male in the space, but what are some kind of styles that you use? Like, how do you differentiate yourself?
So I think, I would say I'm pretty diverse. I would think, only because, for one, like I said, my wife and I were kind of a team. So she used to do sales with a skincare company called Posh. So she's really good at talking in front of the camera. With me, I think I'm pretty good at talking behind the camera, with the face and stuff I did in the past.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get better at trying to talk in front of a camera. As you can tell, I'm stuttering here, but I'm trying to get better at being more in face. But I think more so is I try not to care. I don't. If I think something's funny or if I like it, I'm gonna post it. I posted a recent video of a flamethrower, of a little joke in the beginning I thought was funny. My wife didn't think it was funny, but I was like, that's what differentiates me. I don't really care what people think for the most part.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna put it out there. If it hits, it does. If it gets 200 views, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm learning that as well. Like, creating content for the podcast, creating content for the agency. It's like, what you think sucks and would never post, like, it doesn't really matter. Like, the people who are watching aren't that critical. They don't, they're just gonna swipe and then be gone from your memory. So
another thing is learn to grow. I think I have thick skin is another thing that might differentiate me. But I like hate comments. I don't like them, but I don't discourage them. If they come through, I just feed off them. I don't like bait them or nothing, but my wife and I read them and just start laughing together. So we have thick skin. We don't really care what the people say about us.
Yeah, so thick skin and just keep on doing what you're doing. Okay, I love that. Last question here, but what are some future plans for you in 2025 or the rest of the year? I know you mentioned summertime's big for you and outdoor stuff, and what does 2025 look like for you, Taylor?
Yeah, so depending on April and the TikTok ban, hopefully it's still around. As long as it's still around, my goal is I want to have a $50,000 month. That's my main goal. I want to try to have a $50,000 month. I want to break $1 million in sales this year, specifically 2025, and just keep trucking along with this. If TikTok is gone, then I'm gonna do what I did before and just back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, is there going to be a day where you become full TikTok? Like, is there a number in mind? Or no?
I don't think so. Only because there's so many factors that are out of your control, and this is probably an excuse. I'm sorry for that, but there are so many factors that are out of your control, and we kind of had a taste of that in January, where it was just in an instant, it was gone. No one knew they're getting paid out. No one knew what was next, and that fear, I wouldn't want that hanging over me if this was my full-time job. But I don't really have any other social media. It's TikTok, and I have Facebook for my family, and that's about it. So it'd be really, really tough to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Being a father, you want to think of security first, right?
Yeah.
And, make decisions accordingly. So, all right, great. Yeah, Taylor, thank you so much for hopping on. I know a lot of people kind of will resonate with your story, and appreciate all the tidbits that you gave everyone and tips. So cool.
I hope it was helpful.
I think so. I think so for sure. So thanks for having us. Thanks for coming on, and we'll catch you next time, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you.